Hello everybody, Happy New Year and goodbye to 2025. The word of the year according to Merriam-Webster for 2025 was slop, as in work slop, as in the huge volume of low effort, low quality stuff you can generate using AI practically for free. I am Ben Popper, I'm the Director of Content here at Writer, and we're an AI company trying to help people get work done. So today we're going to talk about how you can use AI to make yourself more productive, to automate routine workflows, to complete complex multi-step tasks, all without getting stuck in the muck of work slop. All right, so let's take a quick example. I work in content marketing. I've done a fancy PDF like this, and I want to take this and I want to turn it into a bunch of different assets for a multi-channel campaign. We worked real hard on this with research and writing and design. It's over 30 pages. I could pop into the Writer app and get started. So let me go over here, head to app.writer, and you're probably familiar with this. Here I am at my prompt window. I could drop in the PDF and say, turn this into assets for a multi-channel campaign. Rule number one, prompts are a living, breathing thing. You will take them with you for a long time, and you need to continue to iterate and improve on them to get great results. If I just went in here and asked it to do it without giving it any extra context, without ever having worked on the prompt before, my results are probably going to be sloppy. So here at Writer, we have something we call playbooks. That's basically a way to craft a set of instructions, a prompt that shows the agent exactly what to do. And over time, you iterate on that playbook and make it better so that the outcome becomes more reliable and more high quality. So a neat thing we have inside of playbooks is this thing called variables here. As you can see, if I were to run this once a quarter for a different gated asset, I could change the source content, the target channels, the CTA, the intended audience, whatever it may be. And that makes this a repeatable workflow, which is a really nice thing about playbooks. You don't have to rewrite the prompt entirely. You've got these variables. And when I run it, as you can see, there's a little no code, just pop and fill those in. Last reason why playbooks are better than prompts. Usually prompts you've got stored in a random Google Doc somewhere. Playbooks I can share with colleagues and teammates. So when I make improvements to them, they get those advantages too. All right, rule number two, find your voice. Now, if you just go into a chat window and say, hey, this is what I want, you're going to get back a response that's in a sort of neutral business tone. But what you want on a marketing team is to be able to craft something in a voice that's specific to the task you have at hand. So within a playbook here, we have something we call voices. You can set it obviously to the neutral business voice, but also maybe this is for clients in life sciences and pharma. Maybe this is an executive communication. Maybe this is in our marketing voice. So that allows you to go in and hone something. You teach it the voice by giving it lots of context and instructions and examples. Over time, it gets better. And that way, every time you run the prompt, not only are you getting an output with proper instructions, but also with proper voice tone and style. All right, tip number three. This goes along with voice, but it's a little bit different. You want to give as much context as possible. So in this case, the PDF supplies some context, right? Like this is the object that you're working on. But another thing we have here inside of playbooks is called connectors. So if I go to connectors here, you can see right now it's got Google Docs and Sheets, but I could go over to manage connectors and I've got all kinds of tools. So if this job required it to pull some data from HubSpot or PitchBook, or if I wanted it to send a message to Slack after it was done working, that's what I would do here with my connectors. Now, another cool thing that you can do inside of playbooks is called knowledge graphs, which is sort of like connectors and sort of different. A knowledge graph doesn't come from a service like HubSpot or Salesforce. It's a ground truth that you and your team establish so that the output from the AI agent is specific to your organization. Maybe it's got your legal guidelines, your copyright and style guidelines, your latest product and marketing messages. So if I pop over here to knowledge graphs, you'll see that I could add some about writer benefits, which is not really important here. Maybe it knows about writer guide content and writer blog content. So when it's producing these assets for our campaign based on the PDF, it also has the knowledge of how we write guides and blogs and everything we've said before, which is super useful. All right, tip number four, do not use the first draft. You should think of the AI agent you're working with initially as a very junior intern. As you work to refine your playbook or your prompt, as you give it more context, as you run it more times, maybe it levels up to a junior employee or an employee with a bit of experience working on this particular task. I would never take the output of a prompt and publish it. That is exactly how you end up with work slop. Let me pop over here and show you an example of a session we ran. It went through a bunch of steps to get here. It analyzed the AI governance playbook. It updated its task list. Then it did some marketing content analysis. Then it generated the assets. And over here you can see we've got LinkedIn, Twitter, email, all kinds of great assets. But after that was done, I decided I actually wanted to give this as a presentation to make it clear to the folks I was working with. So I went over here and I said, can you use your presentation skill to put that into a slideshow format, which it did here for me. Now, this is not writer colors and not how I wanted to see it. So I then gave it some writer brand guidelines and some of our slide decks, and I asked it to change it up. And when I open it up here, you can see, boom, it did a second version with our font and with our colors, which makes it way better. That is the difference between a good output and some sloppy work. Just so we get a sense of what we got here, we've got our LinkedIn assets, maybe an announcement post and a carousel thread. For Twitter, our main tweet and some quote tweets. For email assets, nurture email, cold prospects, newsletter snippet. All of this stuff was generated, but I wouldn't throw it up without first reviewing it and giving it to all the folks on the team who know this stuff best. And that brings us to the last tip for avoiding work slop. Keep the work you love and let AI do the work you don't. So for myself, I love doing deep research. I love interviewing fascinating people. I love writing essays. I do not love the work of remixing and versioning an essay into sales assets and newsletter snippets and paint by numbers SEO. The philosophy here at Writer is figure out ways to go beyond just asking a chat bot for some help. That doesn't build productivity. Take a complex workflow, like turning an asset into a campaign, work on it over time, iterate and improve so that you can take this routine task you might run once a quarter and automate a ton of the work. And then take the time you save and put it into something you love so that your team can come up with a narrative that cuts through the noise, or you can spend more time doing things that humans are hopefully still best at, like shooting videos. I hope you don't want to see my AI avatar yet.
What's wrong with being an AI avatar? People can't tell the difference.
All right, that's all I've got for today. If you're interested in learning more about how we use AI agents or playbooks here at Writer, or checking out some of the playbooks we've built as part of our agentic marketing suite, you can check out the link in the description or follow me here for more.